what's going to happen to the global economy. It's really the Saudi-Iran relationship that matters more than anything. I've said many times this year and last year, Iran and Israel can go at it. They can do whatever they want to each other, and nothing will happen to the rest of the world. This is a very important point. Iran and Israel can have a full-out war for the next 2 years, and it may be like a tree that falls in the forest that nobody hears. Why? Because Iran has to close the Straits of Hormuz for this to be taken seriously by anybody listening to this. I'm assuming that the way that this conflict articulates itself in oil prices, in gold prices, in stock prices, is that Iran has to close the Straits of Hormuz. And if the Houthis can close the Red Sea, if the Houthis can do that to the Red Sea, I mean, Iran could do that to the Straits of Hormuz. And I just want to explain this because this is kind of complicated. Iran cannot really conventionally retaliate, successfully at least, against Israel or really anyone. Shoot some ballistic missiles and drones. That's unfortunate for people on the receiving end, but it's not tragic.
Apparently, Iran sent its first salvo of drones. Israel warned its population to get ready and then sent out a, "We got them all, don't worry, you can go back to your life." So, I mean, just like laying it on.
But you know what? That also shows multiple things, Jacob. It means that Iran did not have a plan to retaliate, like ready to go. Why isn't there a ballistic attack? Why isn't there a huge salvo? Like, why are they not ready? Instead, it's like some 100 drones. Like, it's very amateurish. But let's leave that aside. I mean, look, the point is, while Iran's military is incredibly dilapidated, there's an asymmetry to it in that closing a shipping lane doesn't require that much sophistication. You can do it with drones. You're attacking civilian tankers. They're undefended. You can really make it difficult for ships to transit with very low sophistication. Houthis have proven that. And so while Iran has no ability to conventionally fight a war with really Israel, or conventionally to threaten American forces in the region, they just don't. They have enough sophistication to close shipping, cause oil prices to go up, but they haven't done it. Why? Because two reasons. One, that will invite massive retaliation from the United States of America, the kind that turns you into a parking lot. And Iran has no way to defend against that, so it's kind of crossing the Rubicon. That is the nuclear option, actually. It's not nuclear weapons. It would be closing the Straits of Hormuz. Once you do that, it's fair game. At that point, even China's like, hey, America, please, can you turn Iran into a parking lot? So that's the first issue. The second issue is that it would tip the scales of conflict in the region so vastly against Iran because it would invite Saudi participation, as you point out. Iran is holding on to some very nice, juicy assets for the long term. One of them is Iraq. It's holding on to Iraq because the Saudis effectively ceded Iraq to Iran when they negotiated their 2022 détente. And so there's a quid pro quo. Saudi Arabia said to Iran, you can have Iraq, you can control it through your proxies, political and militant, but you leave us alone. No more drone attacks against our energy facilities. And notice that this détente has held from October 7th, 2023 onwards. It's held through the Iran-Israel missile strikes in 2024 that were unprecedented and that people thought would cause oil prices to go through the roof. They didn't. It's held throughout the Houthi, who are allied with Iran, not proxies, allied, throughout the Houthi drone campaign against shipping in the Red Sea. Notice how all the drones went south, as if their joystick controls are stuck in the south position. None of them went north to Saudi facilities or Persian Gulf. Why not? I mean, hey, Houthis, if you want to make a big splash about what's going on in Gaza, shut down the Straits of Hormuz. It's kind of equidistant to the Red Sea. So why haven't the Houthis done that? Because Iran told them not to. Iran and Saudi Arabia have a détente, and it's a very important one, and it's the most important part of this story today. It's not about Israeli capabilities or cool special forces or the next movie that will be directed about like their incursion. Like everyone's like obsessing about silly little military stuff. The most important question is what will happen in terms of Iranian retaliation, and will they rip off the Band-Aid? Will they cross the Rubicon, whatever analogy you want, and attack Saudi facilities and shipping through the Persian Gulf? And my answer is no. That's why that Saudi statement is so important, because the Saudis are saying like, look, guys, like, this is between you. Actually, no, they're not even saying that. They're actually saying like, yo, Israel is the bad guy. They're straight up saying Israel's the bad guy, which is not that much of a shift. I mean, they've been saying that really since October 7th and throughout 2024, although they did participate allegedly in shooting down some projectiles that were flying over Saudi territory. And, the way they justify that to Iran is like, hey, man, like, you don't need to fly over Saudi Arabia to hit Israel. Yeah, we're going to defend our airspace. Like, so that wasn't really, like, a lot of people in the West thought that this was pro-Israeli. It's not. They're defending their airspace. So I think this is why, Jacob, my hot take on this is Iran does have the capability to disrupt shipping and cause oil prices to go up $100, but there's two things that if they do that, there's two bad effects that will happen to them. American military is not as hot as people think it is, but let me be very, very clear. There's one thing that the United States of America does better than any country in history. Nobody pulverizes you from 30,000 feet like the US Air Force. When America doesn't care about invading, when America doesn't care about putting boots on the ground, when it doesn't care what you do to your own people, when it doesn't care about turning you into Wisconsin and making sure you have like Wendy's on every corner, when America just wants to flatten you, it's unrivaled. And so if Iran crosses that Rubicon, it will be punished. And then the second issue is that if they cross it, if they get on the bad side of Saudi Arabia, they tilt the regional balance vastly against themselves. Basically, Saudi resources, but also Saudi intelligence capabilities in Iraq will then be activated against Iranian interests. And then it's really game over.